Good morning.
It's Johnny Sunshine.
Saturday, guys. The 24th of February. This month was going by really fast, but it feels like it's stalled over the last week. It ain't moving too quick lately, but yesterday was a great day. Got a lot of little nagging things accomplished. Things that, procrastination and not taking care of things, sometimes you can't take care of them, so it drags on, but it eats away at you. So if you have the ability to deal with things immediately, obviously you're much better off. Yesterday I did a lot of things. I mailed some t-shirts out. That was nagging at me. Got the air conditioning fixed in the guest house, which was nagging at me. I'm not really sure if it was done right. Mean in the sense that I think it's a really big unit for that house. My nephew kind of kept me out of the loop. It appears to be a 2.5 ton, and what was in there, which worked fine for 20 years, was a 1.5 ton, and we'll see how it works out. But it's really only about 800 square feet of living space. I mean, it's 1,000 square foot building, 25 by 40. And then you take away from that this lanai that's like 28 feet long and 8 feet wide. And then the cinder block all the way around the house, probably only about 760 square feet in there. And I think a 2.5 ton unit's pretty big for that, but that's what happens when people take charge, and he tends to do that with me. It's almost like a competition of who's smarter, and I don't know, we'll see what happens, but I got a very, very, very good deal on that. The company he works for did it. They charged me their cost. That's it. And I will tell you that I'm impressed as hell with the guys who did it. It took them 2 hours, man. Very easy installation. There were a lot of guys throwing flames. There's no way they did it right in 2 hours. Well, unfortunately for you, my friend, they did. It's pretty easy to cut the old air handler out sitting on top of a plywood box, the plenum, return air plenum, and put the new one in. Make a couple copper connections. They definitely, got reclaimed all the whatever the gas was in the old unit. I watched the guy do it. I can't see where they cut any corners. The only thing that I can see that's an issue is where the air coming out of the air handler goes up into the attic, the main trunk line. They didn't puff it out so that it fills up that hole in the attic. They didn't cut anything. Bella, come on, get in here. Get over here. Come here. Come on, get in the house. No, over here. Get in the house. No, I don't want to pet you. Come on, get over here. So I just need to get a ladder and puff that flex duct out so that it seals that hole. But you know, the system's working. I don't know where you could really cut corners on that, man. I mean, I can see that they used mastic on the bottom where they set the new unit in on top of that plywood. They sealed that joint there, and made a nice return, made a box up on the top out of not flex duct, the duct board, and tied in the discharge pipe to it. And everything's taped, everything looks great. They ran a new drain. All the electrical connections look great. I mean, these guys are professionals, man. They do this shit every day. And that's the difference between, you know, a guy who does it every day and somebody who may know how to do it but doesn't do it every day. You know, there are a lot of plumbers out there who could probably plumb a house, you know, service guys who've never really done any new construction, but they understand how to do it, like Mikey Pipes. For example, I could go out and rough in a two bathroom house by myself in my heyday, you know, in 8 hours by myself. I do the whole thing, loop the copper out, tie the manifolds together. That shit would take Mikey Pipes a week and a half. That's just how it works. It's not that he's incompetent. It's that he doesn't do it every day, you know? And these guys were great guys. They've been working for this company for a long time. I talk about immigrants. When I say immigrants, that doesn't mean every one of them's illegal. A lot of them are here legally. And, you know, unfortunately, like racism and judging people by the color of their skin, most people look at these, and I see it all, even at Detweiler's, where it's a very nice place, and people are very nice for the most part, for the vast majority. They're great, but I see the angry people, and if there's a family of Mexicans walking out of the store and they happen to be not walking fast enough for some grumpy old bastard behind them, he starts, you know, the body language and the puffing and huffing and puffing. It's just a bad situation, guys, when it comes to that, man. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable. And it's just not right, man, you know? So anyways, those guys did a great job. And we got a good deal. Hopefully it will work and keep that place dry. I don't know if there's a way to augment that by letting some of the gas out, maybe, so it's not cooling as much, where it runs longer. That would I don't know if that would damage things. So we'll have to cross that bridge. I know there are a couple guys on here that are air conditioning guys, and I could pose that question to them and see if there's anything, you know, maybe just get it down to a 2. It looked like that's a micro something compressor. I don't know. And then a couple guys were saying that Bryant is junk. Well, I did a little research last night. Bryant is definitely an economical. It's cheap, you know, cheaper than these big brand names. But the reviews for Bryant are very, very, very good, man. And I'm sure there are going to be guys who are going to come and say, oh, they're just junk. Well, we'll see. Time will tell. But I can tell you that with what I paid to have that system put in, I wish some of you guys would tell me what you would get for that. Just an average price, man. To install a system like that. 2.5 ton compressor. air handler in the house, a new thermostat, new AC drain, condensate drain. They did leave the old line set in there. It was only 20 years old, and I don't have an issue with that. They pumped it out. He said we pump it, clean it, and this other one, this new one, I'm not sure exactly what kind of gas they used in this new unit. I'll have to look into that, but I feel good about it, man. I feel really good about it, and like I said, I just can't see where you could cut corners. I mean, yeah, if they did the line set, it probably would have taken them an hour more, like his original estimate, where he said, I think it'll take us 3 hours. But he was adamant that they don't get any easier than this. Easy access. The truck was right outside the door. They stationed, one guy worked on the outside. Took him 2 hours to get that compressor set up. One guy, the other two guys worked together inside, and they were great, man. They put drop cloths down from the door all the way into where they were working. And I'll be honest, when I went in there later in the afternoon, it was 50 degrees in there, man. 50 fucking degrees. And they just want to run it through its paces, I guess. So I turned it up to 74, and it appears there's a little delay on the fan shutting off. It took about 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, I don't know, but it did shut off. And then my nephew came home and he was cold, so he put the heat on, and the heat works. So I'm very happy. Like I said, they did a great job, and it's repetition, man. If you do it every day, the company they work for is the biggest company in Sarasota, man. No, I mean, they're doing $20-30 million a year in sales. These guys are not, weekend fucking warriors. These guys are getting it, man. So, it's a beautiful day. Yesterday, like I said, I got a lot of stuff done. I got my tooth out. Look at this hole, guys. I don't know if you can see that, but Jesus Christ, man. I may have to get a crown or something stuck in there, man. Because it's a big gap. I mean, I could choke on some food if I don't chew it good enough, you know? End up with a big-ass hunk of steak caught in my throat because I ain't got no teeth left. I want to show you these things. This one of my subscribers sent me. I didn't really know what they were, man. I mean, I looked at this and I thought, wow, maybe I'm supposed to get legs with it. And then he commented yesterday about the collapsible buckets. And look at this, guys. I mean, I'm sure it's going to get easier to do that, but this thing turns into a little bucket, man. And then it just folds up. I think it's a great idea, man. I like it. I mean, if you need a small tray, you got it here. There's probably 2 or 3 different positions, or maybe not. But you could even do it like that, man, to catch stuff, you know? Put it on an angle. I like it. Came with 2 of them, man. A big one and a small one. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I did put a t-shirt in the mail for you. And it's all good, brother. I'm definitely going to use them. Because the bucket, getting a bucket for wastewater, I usually just, dealing with plumbing, like, you're going to get some water, man. So you wipe it up when you're done. I just stick a towel in the cabinet and let it rip, Jack. Take a trapper pot, and most of the water stays in the trap. You'll get a little bit out of it. I just let it run right onto a towel in the cabinet, man. I've never had anybody call me up and say, you damaged my cabinet in 27 years. I've never had anybody call me back and say, your tools damaged my countertop in the kitchen. People are always ranting and raving about me putting my tools on people's counters. Guys, those counters are made to handle, you know, putting a hot cast iron frying pan on them. Me placing my channel locks on them isn't going to do anything to it. That hasn't already been done. A lot of criticism on YouTube. Like the first 5 comments yesterday. And these are just the angry guys, you know? I can't believe you let your dogs go in that water and then jump in your bed. I don't let my dogs jump in water like that out in that pool and jump in my bed. You know? I don't do it. Another guy said, you need to clean that fucking yard up. The leaves are falling, buddy. You ever hear of a fucking fruitless effort? Effort in futility? Yeah. A futile effort. These leaves are gonna fall, man. I'm not gonna go out there every fucking day and try to keep this place clean. You know, I'm gonna let them fall and then I'm gonna clean them up. Maybe not me. Maybe I'll hire somebody. I've gotten to the point where, you know, I put the pavers in around my house. 8,000 square feet of pavers, guys. I put them around my house so that I could carve out an area that is not covered in leaves. I have a backpack blower, and I get up and I'll go out, and that's probably what gave. I'm sure that it contributed to my leukemia. Breathing those fumes in from a backpack blower every day. I used it way too often. But I have a big property, man. I can't do stuff with like a gas-powered, an electric blower. And I know here they come. You need to get a battery-operated one. I don't like them. I hate battery-operated tools. Ugh! So I've changed a little bit. I clean it up when it's done. Instead of trying to, you know, keep the floor of a forest clean. It ain't gonna happen. And what was the other one guy really was railing on the guys who put my air conditioning in. I mean, he was upset that they could do it in 2 hours. Literally, like, cleaned up and driving out of the driveway at 10:05. I couldn't believe it. And I looked, I was like, it's just a professional job. And one of his complaints was, I can't believe they wrote that information on the air conditioner with a magic marker. Well, what the fuck? What are they supposed to do? Have a plate engraved and rivet the fucking thing to it? Just angry, man. Nasty. You have to believe those are the Trumpers who are watching. Bill Monroe. Jeez, man. Need to cool it on the questions in the comments. You're getting a little crazy with the... I feel like we do a show together, you know? The left and the right. Guys, look at this, man. The other day I went to that, whatchamacallit, the Napa Auto Parts store to get that breaker. They didn't have it. And ordered it from Amazon. Supposedly it's coming on the 29th. But there was a big Amish thrift store. So I go into the thrift store and just to check it out, because I've never seen it. It's big. And their thrift stores are like a, you know, like a flea market. So I go in and I look around and I'm going up and down each aisle, kind of checking everything out, you know, seeing if there's anything that's good and cheap. So I found these, guys. A pair of Vans sneakers. Slip-ons. Vans. Guess how much I paid for them? Nope. $7. They're brand new, man. And they were size too big. Who cares, you know? I look like Bozo the fucking clown, but they're comfortable, you know? For $7. So I also bought a pair of, a real nice pair of leather shoes, man. And I get up to the counter, and there's no tag on the shoes. I don't know what happened to it. So the lady says, "Oh, these are $20," and I'm like, "Oh, that's way too much for me, honey, for a used pair of fucking shoes." She said, "Well, there was a tag on it." I said, "Yeah, but I thought it was a lot less than that. There definitely was a tag. It fell off as I was walking through the store." I said, "Well, let me go see if I can find the tag. I'll retrace my steps, you know." And I found the tag, and I pick it up, and there's no price on it. The only thing that's on it is the size, which it said 11, and I thought that was $11, which I would have paid. So I go to the lady with the tag, and there's no price on the tag. And I said, "Here's the tag." She said, "Okay, well, they're $20." I said, "Well, I don't want to pay 20. I said, "I'll give you 15. She said, "Nope." I was like, take them fucking from under cheese, from under some guy's toes. Yeah. So I walked out of there with a pair of Vans for $7, man, and they're comfortable. I like them. Slip-ons, man. I really like Vans. I've been wearing them my whole life, man. My adult life, not when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I wore Converse All-Stars and Pro Keds, man. And when we were young, we wore Skippies. Some of you guys know what Skippies are. Fucking cheap $2 sneakers, man, with plastic soles. You try to stop and you slide under a car. Yeah. We used to shop. Man, we were poor. I mean, we had no fucking money growing up. We're lucky to keep the fucking lights on and the water and a house and a roof over our head, which was fine, you know. That's just, there wasn't a lot of extra money. So we shopped at a place called Atlantic Mills in Providence, Rhode Island, down in the shipyard on the Providence River. It's a big place, man. And it was just a bunch of junk, you know, basically. But the sneakers, the sneakers were in a fucking box that had to be 4 feet wide, 4x4, and 4 feet high. Crazy, man. And they weren't tied together. You had to like find a left and a right, you know. So it was possible you could walk out of there with a fucking, you know, size 6 right foot and a 6.5 left. But you know, they were the same sneakers, so. But they were Skippies, man. And the material that they were made out of, the canvas, would always rip, you know? So you had a big rip down the side. It was fucking ugly, man. I realized early on in life that if I want to get some nice clothes and sneakers, Johnny Boy is going to have to start hustling. And that's just what I did. By the time I was 12, I had fucking Calvin Klein jeans, fucking Converse All-Star leather sneakers. Johnny wasn't playing, man. Johnny was reaching for the stars, man. It's a beautiful day, guys. Supposedly it's not going to get over 71 degrees today, but I don't know, man. Johnny's going to start out in the spa, which will be nice. I will clean my yard a little today. The leaves out in my driveway are totally out of control. I hope you guys enjoyed that video yesterday I put up of, it was kind of a montage with my work truck, what's on my truck, the tools that I use. if you guys, if there's anything you saw that, one guy said, where did you get that aerator tool that I was highlighting? If you have a question about something that I had or have a tool that I've shown you, just ask and I'll try to find a link to get you there. That's a great tool. You can get them on Amazon for about $13-14. It's basically an 8-in-1 aerator tool. These new aerators are just a pain in the fucking ass, man. I don't like them. Concealed, form taking precedence over function. People don't even know they're there, the homeowners. They're like, why did I need this? Yeah. Don't worry, they're thinking about you. They're making your life better. So guys, I want a couple of you at least to give me a ballpark figure on how much that would cost for an air conditioning system in this house, that guest house. Give me the price for a 1.5 ton and a price, the difference between that and a 2.5 ton. I mean, the fucking compressor's huge compared to the old one. But that's my nephew grabbing the bull by the horns, and I'm sure he doesn't have any idea even how many square feet are in that building, But he likes to take charge and go storming through something, and garbage in, garbage out is the old saying. But I appreciate what he did and his company. It's a great deal, man. It is a great deal. So one of the other questions, guys, is can we do something to maybe run this thing with not so much coolant, and we can augment a little bit the output of this guy without damaging parts. May not be. I mean, I may just leave it the way it is and it'll be fine. He was saying something about, I don't know what the fuck he was saying, to be honest with you. He just gets into this defensive, lying, say whatever he has to cover it up. Kind of crazy, man. I don't like it. But so Johnny has nothing to do this Saturday morning. My tooth, when I came home yesterday, I changed the gauze after 2 hours, and then by the end of the night it wasn't bleeding anymore, maybe a little seepage, but I went to bed. I took 2 Tylenol when I got home, and that was around 4 o'clock. By the time I went to bed, I think that was wearing off a little bit, but I didn't take any more, and it went away. I don't feel anything today besides the fact that there's a vacancy in my mouth. It's kind of weird the way even the way my cheek functions now. There's a space there, and my cheek's rubbing up against teeth, unlike they ever had. It's kind of weird. So I'm thinking I need to get look at that. That's fucked up, man. My teeth are expensive, man. Woo! Maybe time to get some Delta Dental insurance, you know what I'm saying, guys? But even insurance, you still get fucking hammered. It's a bunch of bullshit. So this guy was a real professional, and I gotta tell you, he was a big guy, and he was fucking bearing down on that tooth, man. That son of a bitch was strong. He was showing me how the roots go up and wrap around your jawbone, and unfortunately, all 3 of the roots broke off. So he yanks his tooth out, and I could hear it snap, and he holds it up. He's like, here's the tooth. Unfortunately, the roots broke off. So he had to go back in and try to retrieve the roots. And then came the drill. Because they just grab, man. Fucking things are tough, man. I mean, you can imagine over the course of a lifetime what your teeth go through, and them babies are made to fucking last, Jack. Big time. I should have taken that tooth with me, man. I got another tooth on this side, on the bottom, that I went to a dentist 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and he did a lot of drilling and filled it. And about 5 years ago, the actual tooth, the outside of that popped off, man. I spit out the side of my tooth. But it hasn't done anything. There's no sharp edges, and it doesn't hurt. And the doctor yesterday said, you know, you can brush that. I was like, of course, I brush it every day. It doesn't hurt. And so I don't know. It's just not an issue. My teeth are in pretty good condition, considering I haven't gone to the dentist. I am going to schedule a cleaning just because of the floss that I use. I'm not sure I can't get my fingers in my mouth to use regular floss. I use those Dentapix, you know, with the floss on one end, but it doesn't really get around the whole tooth. And I need to get this plaque removed, and then maybe think about doing some other things to my teeth. It's time now. The free ride's over, Jackson. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm sure I will find something to talk about. Look at how beautiful it is, man. It did rain last night. Washed away a lot of this pollen. And it's a beautiful morning, man. Beautiful morning. My ferns are all trimmed up. I gave them a haircut. Yeah, baby. So if there are any women out there who watch this and you're lonely, you need some company from a quick-witted, handsome devil like myself, drop me a ring. But I gotta talk to you on the phone, hon. I ain't getting catfished. Some big fat fucking guy sitting in his fucking pink teabag underwear in his mom's basement. Yeah, the fucking Michigan cellar dweller. Yeah. I need a little help around here, man. I need a partner in my life. I fed my dogs late last night, guys. Unfortunately, Bella took a shit. At least it wasn't the Hershey squirts. She dumped right. Sometimes I look at it and I think, was this strategic? Or are they just, what the fuck makes them shit where they shit, you know? I've got bamboo flooring in this house. And then I have travertine tile in the kitchen, which is a total fucking disaster. I think I'm going to get some of that plastic glue down shit to go right over it, because the guy who put that in, he did a wonderful job. It's a perfectly flat surface, and that stick rubber, I don't know, they make a bunch of different kinds, but it's very, very thin. There'll be no dust. I could do it in a day, throw that shit down. I will have to fill those potholes, even that out and sand it down a little bit probably. But so Bella last night, she shit right on the threshold, the board that goes between my wood floor and the travertine. Plop, right on that. So there's a half a shit on the travertine, a half a shit on the wood floor, and a big dollop right on the board. It's the worst spot you could find the shit, man. I mean, I'm gonna have to get in there with my toothbrush to get the crap out from under there. It's horrible, man. It's like they're just fucking with me, man. I have to think they're just fucking with me. Bella's like, I know, he won't let me out. I'm gonna shit right here on this threshold. Fucking make it tough. Alright, guys, we're gonna finish on that note. This is Johnny Sunshine, my morning podcast. I'm going after Joe Rogan, man. Joe Rogan is a sellout. He doesn't really say much. You know, like me, he kind of just looks. He says he'll put something out there, and then he looks and Me, you know where the fuck I'm coming from. Ain't no doubt, Jackson. Joe, I'm coming for you, man. We're about the same age. He'll beat the fuck out of me. I mean, look at his head. The dude's got to be on steroids, man. His fucking head's ready to blow. You know? That's the first thing that happens. Your fucking head grows real big and your balls shrivel up. So, yeah, Joe. Tell us how you really feel, man. Jumped on the Trump train. Read in the paper this morning, not the paper, I watched some news that the guy the Russian spy who was trying to throw Biden under the bus with this Ukraine shit is a Russian intelligence officer, and he absolutely is working for the Russian intelligence agencies, trying to disrupt America, and that's exactly what's happening here, man. These are powers. Donald Trump is just a puppet for Vladimir Putin. He must owe him a lot of money. That's all I can tell you. He must owe Vlad a lot of money, and he's in debt. Why do you think he's out there stumbling over his words? Because he knows what's going to happen. They're going to put anthrax in his fucking diaper. And he's going to... Well, I don't even want to go there. You got to be very careful what you say on these things. You know, you could get in a lot of trouble. Have the fucking FBI coming after you. So, guys, have a great day. Let's think about things today. Bye-bye.